This I like about Glenn Beck is now talking about I don't know, like a psychographic secession. I think Glenn Beck is going through a difficult time, and he's throwing stuff out there. I think he just moved to Texas, and apparently he wants company. Here's Glenn Beck.
If you've listened to me for a long time, I have told you we're passing all the exits. We're passing all the exits. Did you see who Donald Trump is saying that he wants to make as his vice presidential candidate?
Yeah, General Flynn.
General Flynn.
Pause
Everybody.
it. Now, what he means by passing all the exits is there's no turning back from here. Now, apparently there's just an endless amount of exits, because I remember 6-7 years ago when he was talking about we're going to be Weimar Germany because of QE1 is going to create triple-digit inflation. That was like one of the exits. I mean, there was, I think, literally, I bet if somebody went back, like if some, doctoral student, if they would give you a degree for this, go back and count how many exits we've passed. Like, I think you could drive from Boston to L.A. and back on the major highways, and then go from, I don't know, Tijuana up to like Detroit. Pass all the exits, and you still wouldn't pass as many exits as Glenn Beck has said that we've passed at this point.
He is concentrating on what part of that?
The abortion part.
And he's a Democrat.
Democrat.
He's a Democrat. Yeah. Okay. Have you seen why Donald Trump is saying that he wants General Flynn as the guy? Again, everyone will say because he's going to be a crossover candidate. Mm-hmm. No, because Donald Trump believes that there is real civil unrest coming, and he needs to have somebody who has the experience of law and order.
Got to have a strong man.
You've got to have a general of the army. Meanwhile, Barack Obama is talking about a federalized police force. So I'm talking to you because I told you these things were coming.
Pause it. Now, somehow, Glenn Beck looked so far into the future that he went back to people like Eisenhower to see that you could have a general be, well, not vice. Oh, that's what it. We've had a general who was a president, but not one who was a vice president.
He always says that he predicts things.
Oh, yeah.
Basically, everything he says he predicted.
Well, what next? Some type of federal bureau investigation?
I've been trying to point out all the exits that we can. We keep missing them. Nobody wants to hear the God thing. Nobody wants to hear the God thing. I got it. Fine. I got it. There's no other answer. I just want to let you know. There's no other answer. But I understand you don't want to hear it. Look at the difference between Dallas and Ferguson and Baltimore. There's still a God culture here. Mm-hmm. And by the way, I told you to move to Texas for a reason. You're seeing that. I told you when things go to hell in a handbasket, you want to be around like-minded people. You're seeing that. Look at the difference between the shooting of 6 cops on our streets in Dallas and what happened to Dallas and what's happening today in Dallas compared to what happened in Ferguson and Baltimore. You're losing time. Pack your crap and move to Texas. Now, beyond that,
His own people are
before we
laughing at
close the northern border.
there you have it.
That's such a great sound decision to just kind of, before we close the northern border,
Right.
just so you know, he's on to the next absolutely
You want to
insane
be,
thing.
I wonder what he means by like-minded. I wonder what he means by like-minded. And I also appreciate that
People who spin on
he's got his
gyrotonic
people-
balls and believe in God.
clearly his like Stu or whatever those guys' name is, right? What is it, Stu? And
Stu's one of them. I don't know what the other guy's name is.
they're telling him, like, Glenn, you really got to lay off the God thing. And so he's having this out with them on camera now. We're like, I know, I'm not supposed to talk about God anymore. But he says, like, pack your stuff, move to Texas. And literally they laugh at him. And then they realize, like, oh, shoot, I'm not supposed to do that to the boss.
This is actually a major plot line in The Leftovers,
I did not see that, but
which is a show.
I know there's a documentary on HBO.
Yes, it's a documentary. He might think that, so maybe he's just pulling from that.
I have no doubt.
I also like, though, he was making the point that there's a culture contrast between Texas and Baltimore and Ferguson. By the way, there's definitely a lot of people go to church, at least in Baltimore, I know.
I
but
mean,
the difference being
and
that
in Ferguson,
the
that's
difference
crazy.
being that he's like, you saw what happened here. It's like 6 cops were murdered here. In contrast
in
to
the
Ferguson
aftermath,
and Baltimore, where
people
no
felt-
cops were murdered. Okay.
right.
Okay. All right.
Well,
Just
here's the
trying to
other thing,
gauge
Michael,
this.
that you don't understand.
There's a
okay?
lot I don't understand about Glenn Beck.
Well, but there's also a lot about other things you don't understand.
Yeah.
God is very micromanaging on an urban level in terms of what he will do for cities. Like he will see, this is the thing that people don't understand about God. God, as far as God is concerned, okay, there's no counties. He only recognizes city boundaries, state boundaries. So from God's perspective, okay, this is the thing I think that people don't appreciate. He doesn't even recognize towns or metropolitan areas, just states, cities. Here's the weird part. He does not recognize national boundaries, only continental boundaries. It's
the whole municipal system is bullshit. I asked, it was very explicit about it. You got your fucking cities, you got states, and then sure, on a certain global level, I split it up on purpose. But then you add all these other fake boundaries out there. It's ridiculous.
Ridiculous. So you gotta,
Sam, where do you live?
Well, that's the thing. That's why I think like the whole concept that
Where do you live, Sam?
God knows.
Yeah, not New York State. I hope you understand.
Call him from a 509 area. Hello, you. I'm Sam Seder. Looking for smart progressive talk that is occasionally amusing? Well, subscribe to our YouTube feed. Subscribe to our podcast. Like us on Facebook. And just generally enjoy us.